Two things not on the agenda. I wanted to mention briefly the pool. At the last meeting, Mr. Brevy presented to you the engineering services for the Mamakating Park Pool rehabilitation. It was a proposal put forth by Langton Tully in conjunction with a swimming pool engineer specialist. It quoted costs for engineering. Brevy, if you can bring me up to speed on if there was any progress made with it at that time, or was this merely informational presentation?
No, the progress that was made in regard to that was the total expenditures that were projected and inclusive of expenditures made to get the pool through the season came to $116,000. That was for a liner pool, that was to reline the pool, that was to tear up the deck, replumb the pool, and a couple of other engineering aspects that were discussed, running the drain of daylight. We discussed how certain problems manifest themselves in a pool with a liner, such as water underneath the liner, and the importance of proper drainage. The engineering fees were discussed in there for different aspects thereof, the money that was spent on engineers. Again, our total was $116,000 out of the grant. We came to no consensus or conclusion. We didn't even try to derive a consensus or conclusion as to if that was the direction that we wanted to go at that time. Now I think would be an appropriate time to do so if we are going to consider that the town engineer draft a bid document, that it would be drafted in accordance with what you had stated. The only additional item that was put in place was upon the request of Councilwoman Young, who had recommended, because it is a liner pool, we had discussed that the pool remain full or all year, and Councilwoman Young had recommended that the appropriate cover be put on there as liability reduction and, of course, of safety. In implement of safety, we can't have anybody falling into a pool in the off-season.
Understood, but I think it's vital that we get the ball rolling and we have something in place this month, this year. I have to tell you that I have been in contact with Senator Bonasek, and he assures me that the money is available. And the way it works is this has to be submitted like any other request for money to the government. It's handled through, surprisingly enough, DASNY, which is the Dormitory Authority in the state of New York, which requires that we do a number of iterations, for want of a better word, to make sure everything is in place, but he assures me the money is there. I've asked our grant writer, intergovernmental coordinator, Mr. Barnes, to look into this, see at what stage we're at, and to get a time and a reference frame. But we are looking to commit to a 2009 initiation of this process. And later in the business section, we'll be talking about perhaps supportive resolutions.
As long as we're approaching this in the work session, I think that's something that should be approached.
Sorry.
I think that something should be approached, and that is that we have, before we even start handing out bid documents, that we have a schedule in place so that we do not, by any means, I would like to see a schedule for what date the bid is accepted, what date the bids are accepted, what date the bid is awarded, what date the work is going to begin, what date, and I would like the window of opportunity to finish the work in the event of foul weather or any unforeseen circumstances to be large enough that it is done in time, and I would like to see that schedule before we commit anything to being done.
All right.
The first in 2008, we had looked at a resurfacing of the pool, and we had received the bids on very short notice. We had received the bids were open, and it was questionable if we were going to have enough time. This year, we approached it as soon as we got them. We opened it up, and I mean, in construction, something as simple as bad weather can really stick it to you, and we had 20 days of rain. So I would like to see that time frame written out.
We'll address that tomorrow.
Explicitly.
Tomorrow we'll address it.
And adhered to.
Okay.
So that if we do have 20 days of rain, which there's always a good likelihood because we're trying to get something done, we're going to have incredible weather problems, that we are covered.
The only thing I'm afraid of, it's going to be a line of pool, I'm worried about a van. You know, the cover will help for the winter, obviously.
Well, I understand, and I agree with you. Did you have an opportunity to review this again? Point well taken. It's not like putting a patch on a bicycle tire.
Unfortunately, though, what we had discussed with Mr. O'Rourke was because it is not a monolithic pour, it's a sectional pool. The other option is to pull it out or destroy it in place and re-pour. And if that's something we want to draw rough numbers on before we approach a liner, you know, it's good.
How did estimate what Jeff would be about?
$500,000.
Yeah, about $500,000. That's a lot more than we're getting.
I think the whole thing with the liner is that it's so that's basically close to a decade. That gives us time to decide if we want to do that direction. It has some warranties on it. It's supposed to be very thick. It's not like the typical liners down in the home pools.
No, it's not even, it's considerably.
So again, it's a stopgap measure. It's, denying that this is not a permanent thing. It'll be around for decades and decades to come.
Well, the thing is though, Bob, when we break it down, and you sat with me and we were talking about the pool very early on when we came into office, and it was costing $11,000 a year in materials
Right.
to
the
chip and
water
scrape
things
it
like
and paint it. So when you break that down over 10 years,
It's $116,000.
$116,000
that.
is really,
Be saving money.
we're gonna, I think we may.
Especially if it's coming from grant money, it's not like it's even costing us.
Well, it is, and you want to be frugal with every dime you have, but when you start doing your cost analysis, it's something that we got to start, we didn't even allocate for the time it took to prepare the pool. You and I sat down, we were looking at strictly materials.
Labor.
Yeah, we never even looked at labor, and with that kind of savings, I mean, that goes a long way. That's a huge double-edged sword, freeing up the labor to do other things.
Right, and we were running into trouble with that when we spent time with it.
Exactly, yeah. That was pretty much the discussion. Let's just move for thought.
Okay, thank you.